socially savvy scientists?
Okay, so I'm going to talk about both of these tips within the context of making an argument for why behavior analysts should engage in social media. So it's really interesting, Amanda, to hear you say that some of our leaders within the field are saying, don't do it, just don't do it. And I don't think we cannot participate in using social media. Everybody is doing it. So we have to get involved to do it right. Otherwise someone else is going to do it and they're going to do it wrong. So I just want to hit on these two things in my argument. So right now science seems to be a monologue that's delivered to a very specific audience. And within the field of behavior analysis, we pride ourselves on doing meaningful and socially important research that can really change the lives of the individuals that we work with. And we publish our findings in the top tier journals within our field. The problem is these publications only communicate this stuff to other scientists. These articles might be locked behind paywalls or even with our open access journals. The evidence is still inaccessible to the general public. People who want to know what the findings are often can't get this information because of the terminology that we use. It's the scientist's job to share research with the broader community. And it's the scientist who is to blame when research findings are not communicated well. So in order to disseminate science, we have to make a concentrated effort to get involved in public discussions about science. We have to be approachable and available to talk about our research. So this ties into what Todd said about, and what Amanda said about when these people comment with questions about non-evidence-based practices, what should we do? We should encourage them. We should talk to them. We should get them involved in the conversation. But in order to do this more than ever, now we have to be online and actively engaged in new types of media. As scientists, we also pride ourselves on being at the forefront of innovation. But when it comes to media, we tend to fall way, way far behind. So one study found that although more than 70% of Americans are on Facebook, there is a much, much lower percentage of scientists and researchers who are. So one concerning side effect of the lack of a scientific presence on social media is that other people without a scientific background are creating social media websites, blogs, and news feeds dedicated to disseminating information about a topic. And however, these sites are problematic because they do not rely on peer-reviewed information, they rely too heavily on testimonials, and they're filled often with inaccuracies. For instance, within the field of environmental science, a survey of blogs on environmental topics showed that they vary greatly in accuracy, which really highlighted the need for a stronger scientific presence. So how can and should social media be integrated into a behavior analyst's career? It must be valued. So in other words, scientists should be encouraged to and rewarded for participating in social media and disseminating their findings to a broader audience. It should be measured. So scientists should collect data on the impact of their dissemination efforts via social media. For example, this could be achieved by measuring total downloads or other social media mentions for individual scientific papers. And it must be manageable. So the issue that scientists most often state for why they do not participate in social media is a lack of time. If scientists are to engage more fully in dissemination of findings via social media, then research programs need to better integrate the complementary processes of research and outreach. So I'm going to quote an article that I recently read on science and social media that I can't remember the name of, but I can find it if anyone's interested. If we are putting our time and resources into communicating science, but we're not on social media, we're like a tree falling in an empty forest. Yes, we're making noise, but no one is